Right. Good morning and welcome everyone to this LINX Live. I'm Kurtis Lindqvist, I'm the CEO of LINX, and I'll be starting this session off. We're going to first get some updates from me and some of the LINX staff, from Richard and Mike, on technology and products. And we're then having a panel session hosted by Narani Nimpuno. And then last, we're having a guest speaker, Andrew Bloom, about the global giants. So that's our agenda for today. The background for this was that as we didn't have a physical LINX meeting in May, and we're not scheduled to have a LINX meeting at all in August. As you know, we're going down to 3 meetings a year. We still thought that having this virtual meeting was a good way to give a bit of an update and stay in touch with the community, and hopefully provide some information about what we've been up to as well. So I'm going to start with my update, the CEO quarterly update. Most of the exciting things we're going to cover today is probably going to be covered by my colleagues, Mike and Richard. So I'm just going to run through some quick stats about what's happened in the last quarter. So we have so far 64 new applications year to date, which is actually very good, and it's on track to be more than last year if this continues. We have a net growth of 5 members since May, with 864 members and 819 ASNs, so that's a very healthy growth. And we also added 2 countries in the last quarter, which is quite remarkable. I think this is the highest number of countries we've had members from ever. We have also seen quite a growth in 100 gig and 10 gig ports. So we are now 248 100 gig ports with quite a lot of uptake. And the positive thing from both the growth in 100 gig and 10 gigs is that we have seen a lot of members use the promotional offer that we had for the first 6 months of the year, and we extended it into August. And we have seen a lot of migrations from 1 gig to 10 gig and a lot of uptakes in the secondary 100 gig ports, which have been part of the very healthy growth together with the increase in demand we saw in March, but that has held up over the summer as well. So that's very positive to see. And it's also good to see that the 10 gig ports are staying around 1,000 ports, although we see the uptake in 100 gig ports showing that the demand for 10 gig ports is holding fast. This has led us to we have now passed 34 terabit of edge capacity, which is very good. And so overall, we have had a very healthy quarter in growth, and we're quite excited about that. If you look at the regional exchanges, LINX Manchester continues to grow. We have had a new traffic record in July. We have further 100 gig ports in provisioning. So that's also a very positive development there. When it comes to LINX Wales, we have the second site at NGD is going live this week, and we're ready for accepting orders. You know, there was a Welsh government grant as well, and those who applied for that are being contacted directly by the Welsh government for connecting to LINX Wales and the expansion to NGD. Another positive news is that as of Sunday, I think it was, we have live traffic at JediX. We have 3 members live, and they're all passing traffic. So that's also been quite positive to see that grow, and we have a number more members looking to connect there. On the staff side, we have 4 new starters, so we have almost filled all the vacant positions we had. So we have a number of network engineers, an SRE, and an NOC engineer. Unfortunately, we also have 2 leavers, with Jessica in the finance team and Murphy moving on to other roles and other companies, and we'll try and look for those roles in the near term. As I said, I'm not going to cover much of the other activities, as most of that will be covered by Richard and Mike. I just want to give an update on where we are with the COVID-19 situation at LINX. As of mid-August, we have allowed a limited number of staff to return working in the office, those who want to. We have had to limit the number of members of staff in either Peterborough or London to ensure that we adhere to the social distancing guidelines. And they're currently evaluating what the next steps and the new normal will be. Most likely the next step is that our NOC will return to working in a more office environment, and we'll evaluate how that's going to work out in the coming weeks and announce that as well. The other thing I wanted to cover is LINX 110 and the November EGM. The LINX 110 members meeting will most likely be virtual, given the current circumstances and the current restrictions in place. We still haven't decided what we're going to do with the November EGM, whether it will be a virtual meeting or a hybrid meeting of some sort. So we'll have to come back and communicate that to you in the coming weeks. I also wanted to cover a few proposed changes to the MOU that we are going to consult on and launch consultations. We'll circulate this to the membership mailing list as well. The first one we talked about before, which is the change of the multicast LAN. We sent this out on May the 5th to the mailing list before the mailings meeting. This is that currently the MOU requires a separate multicast LAN, and this brings up a lot of complexity and work, and there's only 2 members connected at the moment, and there's no traffic. So we propose to remove this from the MOU, and the proposed change is published. And on the mailing list, there was overwhelming support for this. So we will put this for a vote for the November meeting. We then have a second proposed change to the MOU, and this is going to be a background presentation, and I'm going to hand over to Malcolm Hutty, who is our head of public affairs, to talk you through this. So hopefully Malcolm can join this as a presenter. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm here. Should I share the screen, or have you got the slides up already?
Yeah, I'll get the slides up.
All right, okay. So thank you, Kurtis, and morning, everyone. Okay, well, the first consultation that we're doing is on a change to that we're introducing about the corporate representative status. The background to this is just as part of our ordinary sort of reviews to make sure that we're doing everything that we should, and particularly from a staff point of view. We recently conducted a review of our processes internally and our training for our staff when dealing with a member that's being difficult in some way, that is, whether they're being, disruptive or rude or something that's a member of staff is having difficulty handling from a member. And as a part of that, we had to look at the extreme case, which is how would we protect a member of staff from a member representative who was well out there beyond what's an acceptable way to behave, someone who's really abusive, intimidating, violent, or something like that. And how would we protect a member of staff in that case? Now, when dealing with these sorts of things, we've got a range of informal mechanisms that we can use to intervene, to have management intervene, all that sort of thing. But fundamentally, ultimately, what the power that LINX has in something in that case, given that a member is not on our staff, they're in a customer relationship, is to insist on the member changing their contacts. That is to draw the distinction between the member, which is actually our members are companies, not individuals, and to say this individual, we don't want to deal with them anymore. We have to deal with someone else because of the way that it's happening. And that would be ultimately the ultimate protection that LINX could have against our, to protect our staff if we ever needed something like that. We never have done, but nonetheless, as part of a review, you check these things out. So then we asked, well, can we? And there's a problem there, because under the MOU, members are required to provide a corporate representative for certain purposes. You're required to appoint someone. You're required to appoint someone as a voter, as authorized contacts for certain purposes, like who's authorized, for example, to cancel your ports, so that random members of your staff can't cancel your reports without it being the right person, and we know who the right person is. And also participation in certain mailing lists, such as membership at and ops and outs, you're required to join. And you appoint who is the person that is representing you in that case, which raises the question, so if we said that we wouldn't deal with a particular individual because of the way that they behaved, can we actually insist on a member changing their authorized contacts? given that they've made the appointment. And so we spoke to the lawyers, and they said, it's not very clear. It might be implied from the way it's written at the moment, but you know what? It would really be better if we specified this clearly in the MOU to say that we can. So, next slide, please. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so that's the proposal anyway, that we are going to propose adding a clause into the MOU that says that when you make an appointment, still your choice as to who you appoint as your representative, but ultimately LINX does have the chance to say, if we really need to, actually we can't deal with this person, you need to choose somebody else. It'd still be your choice as to who the replacement would be, but we need to have the right to be able to say, actually this person we can't deal with anymore. And that's what came out of our review. So that's what we're consulting on, making that change and how we go about that. Okay.
And we will send the proposed resolution to the mailing list before once it's agreed by the board. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Malcolm. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature or the chat. We have 2 questions. I think they're both from me. The first one is, how many attendees do we actually have? And we have 74 people currently watching this, including the panelists. And the second question is from James Blessing, if we could extend the 6-month free offer. So we already extended it through the month of August, and we're not going to extend it beyond that at the moment. However, we are looking into how we in the future could do more similar offers, and if we could do them more regularly or in some shape or form. So there probably will be other opportunities, James, to come back to that, and other offers coming out similar to this. I hope that answers those questions. Any other questions from me or Malcolm? No. That's for this. I think one of the things Malcolm wanted to talk about, he's asking me if I have the slides. I don't think I've seen those slides. If I did, my apologies. But there's one other consultation that we will be coming out. I don't know, Malcolm, if you would briefly
I've got them if you need me to do the screen share, Kurtis.
Okay, sure. I'll do that then. Apologies for that. There you can go.
Just need to find which slide deck it was. Here we go, this one. Okay, so this is a separate consultation about a change that we are going to need to make. Is the screen share happening well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That we need to make. This is about virtual general meetings. So in May, we had the AGM and we had it virtually on Zoom out of necessity. You know, there was the government restrictions on travel to contain the virus, the lockdown stuff. And our articles actually specify that there need to be 10 people personally present at an AGM for it to be quorate, for it to count as a legitimate AGM. And getting 10 members in the same location wasn't legal at the time, nor was it safe. And holding the general meeting at that time was considered essential. And that was mainly for 2 reasons. Firstly, we had to adopt the accounts and to do so on time. And secondly, we needed to conduct a board election. And we need to adopt the accounts on time because we can't file the accounts until they've been adopted by the general meeting. And if you don't file them on time, then sometimes suppliers, maybe even prospects occasionally think, are you in financial trouble? And given that there was some nervousness about companies being in financial trouble around that time, we thought it was really important that everybody could see that everything's up to date and we're fine. And the other reason was the board election. The elected directors, their terms of office expire automatically. So if we don't conduct an election on time, their seats fall vacant and we don't have enough directors. And we can only hold an election immediately following a general meeting. That's the way the articles are written. So holding a general meeting was considered essential. It's not clear in our articles whether virtual general meetings are legally valid. It depends on the interpretation of the phrase personally present as to whether that really means in one place. But we think that probably does mean in one place. Now, we're far from the only company that's challenged by this. The government passed a one-off law to legalize virtual meetings between March and September 2020 because of the situation. They just said that any clause in your articles that say where the meeting needs to take place, including one that implies that they need to be present in person, can be disapplied. But that was an emergency law, and it only lasts between March and September 2020. It expires in September. It expires this month. So what we are proposing is to make a permanent change to the articles to allow us to have general meetings in future after that government emergency law has expired. And so what we are proposing to specify in the proposal will be the following requirements. Firstly, that virtual general meetings will be the same as ordinary general meetings, so they can do anything an ordinary general meeting can do, which is essentially almost anything really, which means that we'll be able to conduct board elections and things like that in them, because that's what we turn out to need. We are going to say that only the board can call a virtual meeting. Now, members do have the power to convene a general meeting without the consent of a board if enough members get together and do so, but we don't think that needs to happen virtually for this reason. You'll still have that power to convene a virtual meeting if essentially that's a reserve power in case the board goes rogue or something. But for this protection against the sort of virus situation, only the board would convene the general meeting. And we're also thinking then, once we've said that, if it can be done virtually, we can actually raise the quorum for a general meeting, for all general meetings, from 10 to 25. So there have to be a minimum of 25 people that attend for it to count as a valid meeting. And that provides, again, a bit more protection for members so that they know that enough people are there and paying attention, that nothing is happening sort of amongst a small group or something like that. It's just one of the governance protections to make sure that LINX is safe and it is not going to be captured by a small group. We're also proposing that, again, to strengthen protections for members. One of the things that with an in-person meeting is that members actually have the chance to meet each other and to talk amongst each other about what's on the table, and to take views and understanding and scrutiny that other members have got against a proposal informally, not just through the chair. And virtually there's the risk that you might lose that, because we could just do everything in broadcast mode, and we don't think that's right. Now, we did at the AGM provide a chat room, and so what we're going to propose is that LINX, if we're going to hold a general meeting virtually, we must provide the mechanism to ensure that members get to talk to each other rather than just doing it formally, questions through the chair, so that members can provide that informal level of scrutiny so that they can help to help each other get an understanding of whatever's being proposed. And that's essentially a governance protection for members to ensure that virtual meetings don't undermine the level of scrutiny that you would normally get from an in-person meeting. So that's pretty much it there, really. It's really, we're only proposing it not because we think we should be moving to general meetings as virtual meetings as a replacement for in-person general meetings, but just because the current situation has proved that it is necessary, that we should have the power to be able to do so, you know, if it's really required. Consultation, again, we will be publishing this consultation on membership apps. When we've got the text for the draft resolution, that will go to membership apps so you can see the exact wording that we're proposing. But comments and feedback invited, you know, immediately, or when the text comes, either on the mailing list or directly. You could, for example, to me. And assuming that we do have member support, we would intend to propose a resolution to bring that forward at the next general meeting. Okay.
Thank you, Malcolm. We have two questions. I think we're going to have to. The first one is Thomas Manging asking, can we register interest in participating in the consultation? All the MOU changes will be posted to the membership list for discussion. So that's the place to answer that. And the second question from James Blessing is there no way for a group of members to call a virtual meeting via a petition to the board?
Yeah, James, as I said, we decided that the reason why we are needing to create the power for virtual meeting doesn't need to happen for ones that are called by members. Ones that are called by members, you're not losing the power to call a general meeting. You will, that power's in the articles and it's not going to be touched. So you're not going to lose any existing power that you've already got. This is just providing a fallback for us to conduct the essential ordinary business should we not be able to do it in person because of the virus or something equivalent to that.